Ruth. Hello, everyone. See just a couple of people. Hi, Angie. How you doing?
We have some weather coming, so I don't know if I'll be able to full time. We'll see how it goes.
I know, it's crazy. I heard there was like something that hit in Kansas City.
It's been a nasty day today.
Yeah, we had some friends over by Legends, and they're hiding under the sink at Fuddruckers right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, oh, now they're clear, I guess. So, but yeah, it's coming from around the state. I thought this weather was supposed to be nicer in May. It's just been crazy.
Yeah, not nice.
Okay, sorry, daughter's talking to me at the same time. So how is everyone doing? Just kind of touch base and see how things are going.
Good.
Like that.
Zoom meeting. Professor. I don't know.
Okay, so we're gonna jump in right away. I just want to touch base about week one, see how things went for everyone. Any final questions people have about anything we did in week one? Everyone's good with week one? No questions? Okay, I've seen several of your assignments. I've looked at the feedback. You guys are doing a great job. I'm so impressed because you jumped in and not feeling with the apps that we're using, and you've done a great job with those. So keep up the excellent work. See someone in their car. Hi.
Hi, sorry. Took me a while to figure out how to use the app on my phone.
No, that's fine. I'm glad you're with us. All right, so we're just kind of wrapping up week one. Let's jump into week two and see how things are going. I know the book circles are coming up. The first one is tomorrow. Any questions on that?
We post that under pages, correct? And then that's where our group mates find it.
Yes.
And then we use the Flipgrid app. Is there a how-to with that? Because I was looking to see, and I could probably Google how to do it, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who doesn't know how to use Flipgrid.
Yeah, and that for the Flipgrid, if you just go into the assignments page for Book Circle 1, it has a link automatically to the Flipgrid for your TA. You just click on that link, and all it is there's a green plus sign. You just click on the plus sign, and it'll record you automatically. So it's super easy, super user-friendly. For that, you'll have the maximum 3 minutes to do that recording, but it is a video recording and audio recording. So you just hit the green button and it automatically records for you. And it'll save directly into your TA's folder, so they'll know where to go find it.
And then my next question is, the book circle document says comment on 4, and then the Flipgrid says 3, and I want to make sure that I comment on the right amount of peers.
4 would be better. I know some groups are smaller, so you only have 4 or 5 in your group. But I'm hoping if you do 4 this first time, and then if you are in one of the larger groups, 4 the next time, you'll hit most of the books. So shoot 4.
Okay, thank you.
Good questions.
And then off of that Flipgrid, so it seems like we just record ourselves, and so we're just gonna record a couple-minute speech and say the people's names and their book titles and just kind of summarize what they did. And then it also looked like at the end it wanted us to take like a snapshot. Are we taking like a snapshot of just our face? Or is
it's like a little selfie app. It's with the Flipgrid, so you can take like a little selfie, and then there's like stickers you can put on and decorate. So when people go to click on your Flipgrid, they see your face and like whatever stickers you've added. It's just a fun little detail.
Okay, so that's like what it looks like when you submit it. Like that's how people know.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. I thought that I was like I didn't see what that was for, so that makes more sense now.
Yeah, it's really just a neat kind of way to get to know people through their personalities and what they decorate with.
Very nice.
Yeah. One other thing I was going to say about that for your peer response, when you look at the 4, since you're going to be recording it right away, just like maybe have a couple of notes, like their name in the book, just like you said, and then maybe like something you took away. I did put the 3 points, I believe, are the same for what you did with your historical figure, event, or laws, like a connection you made to something they shared, either personally either between your books or something like that. So when you could say, like, say you're commenting on Sarah's, and Sarah says, you say, I really liked how Sarah's book Mindset talked about having a positive mindset. In my book, Innovator's Mindset, we also do that, and blah, blah, blah. You know, so kind of just making those connections.
Okay.
Okay. Does that help clarify the Flipgrid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very much so.
And then let's go to some of the apps for Book Circle 1. You have a choice of 5. So let's kind of run through them. Probably the most familiar to people will be Google Slides. Has anyone prepared or started preparing using Google Slides?
I already submitted my assignment and I used Google Slides.
Okay.
So
How did it go for you?
it was the easiest program so far for me to use because it's a lot like PowerPoint. So I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be the most similar to PowerPoint. So pretty user-friendly. Similar to that is eMaze. Has anyone tried eMaze? It's, again, kind of like a fancier version of PowerPoint. Has anyone tried that one? No? Okay, there were a couple of people this morning in the 12:30 Zoom session that said they've tried eMaze and it was glitching a little bit on them. So if that happens to you, just like be persistent. They said they did get it to work eventually. I just like eMaze because, again, it's similar to PowerPoint but fancier with transitions and stuff like that are automatically built in. But it has great templates to use and just plugging in the information. So for your second book circle, if you did use Google Slides and want something kind of similar, eMaze is probably going to be the closest app to that. Did anyone use Prezi?
Yeah, that's the one I'm trying.
Okay, how's it going?
I did Prezi.
Okay, are you guys liking Prezi?
I think it's going to be really cool once I put it together, but it's been very tricky to figure out all the moving pieces. But I wanted to try something new, so. But
yeah.
I like how it moves through the board and you can see the whole thing at the start and then it like zooms in on each spot. So I do like that part.
Good. Yeah, I really like, it's kind of a neat feature the way it will zoom into each different slide and you can pick lots, again, different formats or backgrounds for that. So the one thing with Prezi, make sure you're using the classic version because that's the free one. There's another version of it that you have to pay for. So click on the free version. Okay.
I had a difficult time finding, and maybe I didn't do it right, but to put the APA citation on the title page.
Yes.
It seemed like a lot of those title pages want 4 words and move on.
Yeah.
And so Prezi was the only one where it really would let me manipulate and put any text anywhere I wanted.
Yeah.
And I went with that.
That's good. And then one thing too with the title, the APA citation, some of the apps aren't going to let you do the indent that's called for in APA. So like, I have to tab in on the second line. If that happens, just put a little note to in the comment section when you upload it to your TA, just as a reminder, like, hey, it wouldn't let me do APA in the exact format, just so they know that you did attempt to do that. But we're definitely not going to deduct for like not having a hanging indent in your APA citations. Okay. So we know that some of the apps are a little bit tricky that way.
Okay.
All right, excellent. And then I'm seeing there's some great comments going on over here. So Dorothy's asked if I include audio in my presentation, is my grade based on just the slides or the presentation as a whole? It's really the presentation as a whole. For this book circle presentation, it's not required for you to use audio because all the apps are different. Some of the audio features are easier to use than others, and I didn't want people to get frustrated by having to figure out audio for like Haiku Deck or Sway if they're using those apps. So audio is not required, but if you do it, that's just an added benefit or plus for the people looking at your presentations, that you do not need to do audio. It's just really about the slides and the information on those slides.
Okay.
And you want to balance those out too, though. You want to make the slides, again, Dorothy has a great point here. Slides are simple, not very explanatory without audio. Just make sure when looking at the slides, people can get a sense of what your book is about. This is an introduction to the book. Book Circle 2 will be more detailed and have more slides and more information. But you just want to get them a feel for what the introductory part of your book has been about. One way to think of that, I know I said 5 slides plus your title slide, but say your book is broken up where you have, let's say, 12 chapters. So you have the first 6 chapters of what you're going to do for the first half. you can do like 6 slides a slide a chapter. Or if you feel like you need 2 slides per chapter, that's fine too. Don't put so much text on the slide that you can't, like it's going to take someone forever to read it. Does that make sense? You want to give them just the general idea of what your book is about. Make sure they can distinguish your book from another book, but don't feel like you have to rewrite the whole book on the slides. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then when we're doing pictures, are we just like putting the link right below the picture, or do you want like a cited source at the end with pictures?
No, just the link right below the pictures.
Cool.
Yeah, let's keep it simple. And then someone did say that if they wanted to use their own picture in the chat room, and I said definitely that's great if you have your own pictures you want to include, and just put like your name and the year so we know it's your picture. Let's go to the other 2 apps for the book circles, Haiku Deck and Sway. Has anyone tried either of those? No one adventurous out there yet?
I've tried Sway.
Okay, you tried Sway. How'd it go, Bethany?
It's a work in progress. I'm figuring it out, I think.
Okay, good. Yeah. Be persistent. It's a little different format and different approach for it. Once you get the hang of it, though, it's super easy. So
Thank you for
just stick with it. Yeah, I'm excited to see it. And for those of you who haven't tried like Haiku Deck or Sway, I would challenge you for Book Circle 2 to maybe step out and do something a little bit different, because those are actually apps you'll use later on in the MAP program, and then also you'll use them in classrooms too. So getting a little familiar with them now is a nice way to have that introduction to them. Other questions about the book circle itself or the presentation that you're putting together?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I hear someone, but I don't know if they're talking to us or if they're talking to someone else.
I did have a question about citing Kindle. I have like a few quotes that like really speak to the key concept that like would really resonate with my slide. I just don't know how to cite it APA from a Kindle since there's not page numbers.
Yeah, that's a little bit tricky. Can I have one of the TAs jump in? Have you had that issue before where you have a tip for them for citing from the Kindles? Or Susan, even, do you have a tip?
I'm sorry, Dr. Perez, I don't.
Okay.
I would have to do some research on that.
Okay. I would say for now, just to keep it simple, go ahead and just cite the chapter it's taken from. Say taken from Kindle, chapter, whatever, and then the author and year, just so that we know that's where you pulled it from. Because you're right, the page numbers aren't there, and it's very challenging. Like, I don't want you to have to try and figure out or guess a page. But that way, at least if we know what chapter it comes from, that'll help us out.
Awesome. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Kim Harden gave me a good resource for that because I'm using Audible for mine.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So I could send that to you.
That'd be, or could you put it in the chat room for us?
Okay, I can do
Yeah.
that.
Okay, that would be perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not too overly stressed about the APA citations. I want you to become familiar with it. But we're not going to penalize you greatly for not having, specifically like with Kindles or Audible or stuff like that, if it's not 100% correct. Just do your best, and I'm glad that Kim has a resource that we can pull from too. Okay. Other questions or thoughts about the book circle presentations coming up? I like that. You're a real MVP, Catherine. I like that. You guys are cheering each other on.
I had a question about the reflection paper number 2.
Uh-huh.
I thought that I saw that someone posted like it's about chapters 4 through 6 and not 4 through 7. But I didn't see the requirement list on our modules.
Yeah, if you go into,
just because it's going to be in assignments.
Yeah, if you go into the,
Okay.
it should be linked in the module. Let me double check that. If it's not linked, I'll do that right quick. But yeah, if you go to the assignments tab, for sure you'll see it there.
Okay.
And it does
It
have,
like just occurred when I was asking that question. I probably should have checked assignments, but I had just been looking in the module so much lately that I kind of forgot about that page.
yeah, now let me go ahead and it looks like I just put the book circle in there. I'll go ahead and link in the modules that assignment as well for Reflection Paper 2. But it is posted in the assignments tab right now. But in
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that was a very silly question. And once I said it out loud, I was like, oh, yep, that was not needed. So thank you.
That's a good question. And now it's there. You can see it. So
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I try to keep everything in one place to make it easier for all of you. Okay, so that's there now. And for Reflection Paper 2, the reason we're just doing chapters 4, 5, and 6 is that on Friday, the day the paper's due, is when technically you're reading chapter 7. And I didn't want to stress people out thinking like, oh, I have to read through all this and come up with a reflection as well. So that's why we're only doing the first 3 chapters on the chapters 4, 5, and 6 for Reflection Paper 2. And for those, it's going to follow the same format as you did for Reflection Paper 1. You're just using chapters 4, 5, and 6. So it'll have the 3 steps. The question came up earlier in the Zoom session, like how long does it really have to be? I'm looking for a paragraph for each chapter for all 3 steps. So if you total that up, that's 9 paragraphs. But I know we had some people who are very wordy and not wordy, very effervescent in their sharing of information. So some of the reflection papers got up to 6 or 7 pages. It's not based on how many pages you turn in. It's just, have you met the requirement? So if you can do it in 2.5 pages, which is about what 9 paragraphs would be, go for it. If you need a little bit more, that's fine. I would definitely say try and keep the reflection paper 2 to about 5 pages. I think the TAs would appreciate that. I'm sure they love to read your stuff, but if you can keep it to about 5 pages, I would say that's a maximum. But minimum, if you can get those 9 paragraphs in 2.5 pages, I would say that's good too. Okay. Does that help clarify the reflection papers? Okay, good. Good. I love the thumbs up. Thank you. All right. Other questions about this week or anything upcoming? One of the things I did want to note too is for the video, the course content video for week 2. It is in the week 2 module, and it says week 2 content video, and the video is in parentheses or brackets because it's not really a video. It's a link to a VoiceThread. Because I asked you guys to make voice threads last week, I wanted to show you that I'm not one of those teachers who just like tells you to do all these different apps and I don't use them myself. So the video this week is actually a voice thread. You go through and just click on it, each slide, and you'll hear my voice kind of explaining directions or going over some of the content. One thing that has been a little tricky for the links to the coffee talks and a couple of the videos I embedded, that link is on the lower right-hand side of the screen. And there's like 3 buttons. When you kind of move the mouse over, you'll see 3 buttons. One's to zoom in, one's to zoom out, and the top button looks kind of like a broken chain. That's the link to all the videos. So if there's a video there, just click on that link and it'll take you automatically to the YouTube or to the video presentation. Has anyone been able to find those or seen those yet?
Yeah, it was really helpful on the chat. Someone posted that.
Good.
So I was able to watch them, or else I would have been asking you tonight too, because the thing you like circled, there was nothing under it. So
okay. Yeah.
So that was really helpful on the chat.
Good, good. Yeah, definitely go to the chat too, because there's great tips in there. People are asking wonderful questions. We're reiterating some of the stuff we're going over now. But yeah, there's good information for you all there.
I had a question about the week 2 content video. Slide 43, it's one of the questions that you brought up, number 6, about deculturization. It's marked as false. And that was like exactly what I had written down is the definition of deculturization. So I don't know if I got something wrong or if that's Mark's.
Yeah, if you go into the chapter, there's just one word that makes it false.
Okay.
So go back and look at like the actual definition of deculturization, and there's one word, I want to say it's the destroying is the word that makes it false or something like that.
Okay.
So it was kind of tricky because it sounds like it's true, but that's the one thing that made it false.
Okay.
And then just not as a spoiler for that, but what you can see or what you'll see in this week's content video is I tried to give you examples of what each philosophy of education would look like in practice. So for the perennialism, you have the Socratic circles and the didactic instruction. For progressivism, you have some classroom examples that I put in there. And then for behaviorism, what is being talked about right now is the quiz that Sarah's mentioning. There's like a midterm quiz in there. And I set it up purposely to make it sound like you have to submit your score to the quiz. It'll be part of your final grade. You do not have to submit your score. It was just kind of to give you a sense of what a behaviorist teacher would do. They'd give you a quiz, they'd get a score, and that would be it. It's very linear in its approach. So in the end, though, you do not need to submit the quiz score. It's just a simulation, so you can get a feeling of what a behavioristic classroom would look like. Okay. Does that make sense to everyone? And my dog has gotten something that she's eating on the floor. So that I think was the only real question that came up with the content videos this morning in the Zoom session. But other questions about the video or the voice thread? No. Okay. I would definitely encourage you to go back and do the voice thread if you haven't had a chance to do it, though. It's got some great information in there. I do see that we have several of our TAs on with us and Susan on with us. Do you have anything you want to share, TAs or Susan, at this point?
I don't.
Okay, excellent. Angie, anything we need to know on your end as a TA?
I don't have anything. I think my students are doing an awesome job, and this is a fun class.
Good, good, that's great.
I would throw in that I did add a link into the chat for how to cite from a Kindle book. And so I didn't see the other link in there, but I did throw that one in.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's in the chat here, and I'm going to copy that, Stephen, and put it in the chat in the correspondence.
So. My phone right now for this session, so I'll link in there when I get off.
Okay, perfect. That'll be great. Yeah, I'll go in the chat and throw in the one Stephen put, and then when you can do that when you get off, that would be great.
Take a shower, smell like a pig.
Excellent. What was I going to say? There was a question that came up this morning, and I don't know if, like, Susan, if you want to address it, but in the Zoom session earlier, the question was asked, will we have the same TAs throughout the program to kind of guide us through? And I definitely told them, yes, we're sticking with the same TAs. So like when you move on to Dr. Vaughn's course or Dr. Sherbert's course this summer, or even in the fall, you'll have the same TAs supporting and guiding you through. Do you want to give them a little bit of a rationale for why we're doing that and not switching TAs?
Well, to be honest, we did talk a little bit about switching groups to be able to give folks the opportunity to get different perspectives and gain the experiences that different TAs have. What was the overriding factor in staying with the TA and the group of students that are together through the entire year was the cohesiveness and the relationships that were built. Above anything else, collectively, the TAs that were with us last year in cohort 3 felt that was an overriding factor that just couldn't be given up. There was too much at stake, and there wasn't anything that we could probably do that would counterbalance the value that those relationships bring to the table and ultimately to the success you're going to have in the classroom once you finish with the program.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And from my experience going into that practicum, having the same TA who's known you all along and been working with you is extremely beneficial. They can help guide you, answer questions. So that relationship, I think, is going to be really valuable. And I've been super impressed. We have a new batch of TAs that have joined us this cohort, and they are phenomenal, like Stephen and Jamie and Jennifer and like all the other TAs. So we have a great support system with our TAs. So I think it's one of the aspects of this program that makes it unique and really beneficial. I know also Dr. Vance is going to be putting together a presentation along with Dr. Elner on upcoming things related to the practicum and to videoing and all that kind of stuff. I think there's been a little misconception that I do some of that. I don't do any of that, so please don't ask me. But Dr. Vance and Dr. Elner are on top of it. We'll send you information. I know they are working hard on placements along with Eileen to get those done. There has been information shared that'll still take at least another month, so just give them time. They know your preferences via your STAR form. They're working hard at it. But they are the 3 people who really work on that the most. So, any questions about that? Okay.
Dr. Perez, that the link did go out for the Zoom with Dr. Vance and others. It's going to be tomorrow night, so everybody should have received that link.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Excellent. Did you guys get the link? Can I have a thumbs up if you got it? Okay, perfect. Excellent. Yeah, so definitely if you can zoom into that, it'll be very, very informative. And if not, they will record and post it as well. I'll see if I can get them to post it in my modules too, so you have it. But you should have the course, EDCI, is it 890, Susan, where they should be able to see it. Yeah, so I'm sure they'll post it into that course for you. Okay. Any other questions about week 2 or anything I can help you with?
I just had a quick question with posting our book circles. Should we be posting it in our discussions the way we've been posting it? I know it says to post it to pages, but I just couldn't figure out how to insert it unless we were supposed to click edit.
Yeah, click edit and then put your name and the URL link for your presentation.
Okay.
And that's where your TA will get it and where your peers will be able to see it. But
Okay,
yeah, put it in pages. I wanted to move it to pages just because discussion board has been getting pretty inundated with information with our first 2 assignments. This will make it just a little cleaner and keep all the book circles in one spot for us.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, and that's one other question that came up this morning. Should we keep our assignments? Definitely keep your assignments. You will be using this stuff hopefully in the future, particularly for your portfolio when you put it together. A great recommendation went out from Jennifer roughly saying, like, if they give you a tip on fixing something, go ahead and try and fix the assignment now. So if you want to use it in the future in your portfolio, it's already corrected and done. If you wait and try and do that in the fall when you're student teaching and doing all your other coursework, you're going to forget, or you may not have the comments that they made on your assignments. So fix anything that they recommend now as you get the feedback back from your TAs so you can use it in the future. Does that make sense? And then definitely download everything, keep everything.
Yeah, I would definitely reiterate keeping things. I had an experience when I got my master's that a fair amount of my work got lost somehow in the shuffle. And if I would have kept copies, I would have had to have redone everything so that I could receive credit for it. And then also, as I was applying for the doctoral program, they wanted evidence of my writing that I had done. And so I was able to go back and access that. So yeah, definitely get yourself an external hard drive or something like that and keep hold of all the work that you do.
Yeah, yeah. Excellent recommendation. And you'll have
there does come a point after each of the classes are finished that the classes will close. And so it makes it more difficult to get back in once the classes close. Plus, as we keep going, memories tend to fade. So you kind of forget which assignments had what kinds of things in it. So if you're keeping them saved as we go along, then you won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really important. And right now, the course is scheduled to close like mid-June. I'm going to move that to the first part of July. Where's that audio? Oh, thank you. Can you mute that audio for us? Yeah. So I've reset the close date for July 6th. So you'll have like a month after this course is done to access information. But then, like Susan said, it's going to close. So definitely before, the June 6th date, go ahead and, July 6th date, go ahead and make sure you've downloaded information that you want to keep. Questions about that? Okay. And then, yeah, I think I like that Paige says she's a pack rat and she's going to keep all her stuff too. So that's good. Yeah, I just went through the garage and I finished my doctoral dissertation in 2002. And I found like all my research in the garage. I'm like, okay, it's been a while. I think I could get rid of some of this stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely like that as well, Paige. I keep way too much stuff. My daughter, I'm trying to get her to clean her room this summer. And she's like, Mom, I threw away 3 bags of garbage. And I'm like, good, keep going. We can see your floor. We're making progress. So any other questions we can help out with at this point? Remember, no questions too small. That's the purpose of the Zoom session, to make sure we're all clear on what's going on.
I did have a question about upcoming assignments. This is a really crazy time of year. I'm sure not just for me, but for a lot of people. I've got 2 trips planned the next 2 weekends. And I didn't know if some of that later stuff could be opened sooner, so I had access to it sooner, or...
I'm going to open up week 3 Thursday evening.
Bless. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a head start on it, but not too much. Like, I don't want it to open up today because I want you to focus on week 2 assignments. But I know I've had requests from other people besides yourself. I know someone's leaving the country. So definitely I'll open that up Thursday evening for you guys to get a jump start on. Know that you just have to have your book circle book read so you can do that final presentation, because that'll be the first assignment I think due next week. We won't have a reflection paper the final week. It'll be more like an overall course reflection. And then let me look at the schedule right quick to see what our other assignments were. I think there's like 2 other minor things. There is an exit survey. I did fix that. I know there's a little confusion on the exit survey. I did move the date for that to the last day of class. But next week, week 3 assignments, we'll have Book Circle 2, the peer response. You'll have your enhanced philosophy of education paper. That was the other thing I was thinking of. So with the enhanced philosophy of education paper, you'll be able to now talk about some of these philosophies you've been learning in chapters 4 through 9, I believe, are where all the philosophies are covered. And you'll be now able to articulate those next week in your enhanced philosophy of education paper, and you'll have more structure for writing that enhanced philosophy paper. And then the building foundations for the future, that's going to take place of your reflection paper 3. So it's really, again, just like the 3 assignments next week: Book Circle 2, enhanced philosophy education paper, the building foundations of the future, which is kind of like a reflection, and then that exit survey. So definitely you can start jumping in on those Thursday when I open them up. Okay. Any other questions about that, upcoming assignments, or anything else we've covered tonight?
I guess I have one more question, and maybe Susan can answer it. And I know someone, looks like Nicole posted it, but mentioning how we have that Zoom talk tomorrow night, and about EDCI 890.
Yeah.
But I've gotten the emails about the technology and that we have a Zoom tomorrow night, but I don't have access to it on Canvas yet. And I was wondering if maybe one of you guys knew if they were waiting to post that, or if we should be able to see it right now by chance.
I'm going to guess Dr. Vance is going to wait until after the Zoom meeting, sometime after the Zoom meeting tomorrow night, before he opens it up.
Okay, thank you.
There's not necessarily a whole lot for you to see in there anyway. Since it's basically the portfolio, but I'm guessing he's going to wait till after tomorrow night anyway sometime.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, great. My daughter's trying to eat my ice cream right now.
No, there's another one in the
Oh, okay. He brought us 2. We got the 50-cent Frosties. Good deal, by the way, people. So that's my reward for the Zoom session. I get a 50-cent Frosty when I'm done. Any other questions for Susan or myself or any of the TAs? We do have a few TAs on.
This isn't about this class, but the next class, what day does that start? Do we know?
It starts the Monday after this one finishes. So if we look at the calendar, it'll open up right away. So we finish on the 7th. The next class, Dr. Vance's class, will start on the 10th.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have an undergraduate class starting too, right? That same date. But Dr. Vance will take over the mat for us. And you'll really enjoy that class. It's a great course. All of them actually are really good. Yeah, so Book Circles posts 2 pages, and then the peer review goes on to Flipgrid. So yeah, that's definitely one of the things to remember. And the pages links are just, if you click on the pages tab, you'll see a page for each TA. And then if you go into the assignment, you'll see the Flipgrid links for your TA as well. And again, that Flipgrid, super user-friendly. All you need to have is like a camera and microphone in your computer, and it'll automatically do it for you. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Well, Susan, anything else you want to say? Wrap up? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I will post the Zoom session tonight, so you'll have this one to look at. And then also the Zoom session from this morning was available, but I think we addressed everything that was addressed in that one. So, and I will be emailing you kind of a check-in tomorrow, see how the book circle's going with any reminders that you might need. And we'll set up a Zoom session for next week. Probably we'll shoot for Monday next week to kind of set the stage and get us ready for that last week of the class, okay? All right, you guys, thank you so much, and stay safe with this crazy weather. And I will see you and talk to you all soon. Bye, everyone.